Good evening, everyone. Welcome to MJ Vlogs back again. So, this is a back to back video. Here, we'll be looking at the US Senate. As we all know, that the US Senate is a very uh, important part of the capital to pass the legislations and the laws, even if one of the houses is controlled by other parties. So there's a high possibility that the rules may not pass due to conflict of interest and ideology between the two parties, Democrats and Republicans. But this time, the House of Representatives may be dicey, but the Senate is assuring assuring a good victory for the Republicans. The GOP are going to win the Senate. There's a 99% chance about that. So we just quickly look how the Senate would look like in the United States if GOP are going with the polls which are right now. So Democrats will win Washington, California, Hawaii, the state of New York, then the state of Maryland, Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Jersey with good margin. And by good margin, I mean a solid margins. So now we can look onto some swinging states. I mean the likely states for the Democrats. Meanwhile, we look at the polls in Arizona Senate. Lake versus Gallego. Gallego is leading with a good 7 point lead, so it's safe to say that Arizona will be likely Democratic in the Senate. You can see predictions here are likely Democratic. There's 83% chance that Ruben Gallego would win. In Nevada, 81% chance that Jackie Rosen will win. In New Mexico, 92% chance that Hendrich will win. We look at the polls in state to state. Nevada, Brown versus Rosen. Rosen is leading with a good 10 point lead, so safe to say a likely Democratic state. And the state of New Mexico, where the things are hanging again. Hendrich is leading with a 12 points lead, so it's above. I think above 11 or 10. It's good to say that we have a safe state. So New Mexico can be counted on as a safe state for the DNC in the Senate. Coming to the state of Minnesota, which has the legacy of voting for Democrats since in the presidential election since how many years? I don't know, 52 something. And in Minnesota, in the state of Minnesota, I think we don't have a poll right now. I think we have to search for it. I think we don't have a poll. But here you can see in the state of Minnesota, Klobuchar is having a 98% chance of winning Minnesota's Senate seat. That's really that is in that number is enough to assure us that Democrats will be winning the seats as well. In the state of Pennsylvania, in the presidential race, obviously there is some very tight situation between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. But after all, Senate also matters as much as the presidential race and the House of Representatives too. So we'll be quickly looking at some polls in Pennsylvania. Casey is leading by 3. Okay, that's not very much to be celebrating about for the DNC. That could really swing either way, but it's a lean Democratic state for now. Coming on to the state of the Midwest, Wisconsin and Michigan. These two brother states have always been the turmoil of every election. The state of Wisconsin shows Baldwin up by 8 points and Michigan shows Sotkin up by 3 points. In the latest poll, though, I think Michigan Slotkin is up by 6, little less. Wisconsin Baldwin is up by 1. So the race is getting really tight in the state of Wisconsin. I think safe to say that it's a tilt state. It could go to GOP as well, but yeah, and the chances of winning, Timmy Baldwin is leading with 75% chance of winning, while Eric Hovde at 25. So that's really good for the Democrats as they won't be losing another state. In this case of Michigan, uh, Slotkin is going good. 72% is what uh, they have the chance for winning. I think it's good to say we have Michigan as a lean, or maybe you can say I think I think a lean would be good because there are presidential influences and the House of Representatives that influences this results a little bit. Then I'm going to Virginia, which will be the last Senate, state, and likely Democrat Tim Kaine has a chance of 84% of winning. In the state of Virginia, we have polls here in Virginia. Yes, we do have Cow versus Kaine. Kaine is leading by 11 points. Voila, good amount of number to affirm that Virginia will be a likely Democratic state in the Senate. In the very much north of the country, northwest, independents are going straight forward and will be winning by a good margin. Okay, the Maine is likely independent, while Vermont is a safe independent. If we look at some polls in the state of Vermont, in presidential races, Vermont is a true Democrat, but in the Senate, Sanders is leading by 41%. So that's absolutely enough to obliterate the other two parties and state that Vermont will be the true one. In Maine also, King is leading by 10, so enough to say independents are racing these both states. Coming on to the Republicans, which will be the can see which will be the automatic winners of this election. Wyoming, Utah, Nebraska. Nebraska is special district. Then North Dakota, Tennessee, Mississippi, Indiana, and the state of West Virginia, interestingly, which will flip, but would flip in such a good margin that Justice has 19 over of 99% chance of winning, and it's a safe GOP. Saying that, we'll just look at some polls in West Virginia, the state which is obviously carried by Trump with a hell lot of margin, but in the Senate we usually see it swinging haywire. But I don't think we have a poll here. I think it's safe to say that it's 99% is a hell lot of number. I think it's safe to say that West Virginia is going absolute red. Texas, meanwhile, will be a little, uh, maybe a little, moving towards the DNC. Cruz is leading by 2 points only, so that's a little tricky thing for Texas, which may encounter uh, falling Republican support. And in the state of Florida, which has always, you know, been a dicey one, whether it be the presidential election or the Senate, Florida, Scott is leading by 4 points. That's enough to say that it's a lean Republican state as well. Coming on to Missouri, will be a likely Republican state. If we see some polls in Missouri for the Senate, I think we don't, but the Hill says it's likely GOP. John Hawley having a 94% chance over Coons of winning the state Senate. This Montana is the biggest state on this map, which will be swinging either ways. Republicans have secured the half number of seats. Meanwhile, the vice president, if this situation remains like this, Republicans will, if they leave at 50, then the vice president has to decide the Senate. But you can actually see now in Montana with this state coming in, I think calling in, I think we have the results for the Senate. GOP are leading in Montana. He has a 73% chance, and we have you know poll also in the state. He is leading by 7 points. That's interesting for the GOP, and with that state coming in, GOP have a majority control over the Senate of the United States. But Ohio is still left. Ohio is considered a toss-up because things are getting really close here. Brown versus Moreno. Brown is currently leading by 5 points, but in the Hill says it's a toss-up. We can't decide here. So, but we'll be going as per the polls. The polls say it's up by 5 points. Then it's a lean Democratic state. So this is the map of the U.S. Senate. As per the polling averages, Republicans have a clear majority in the Senate, 38. They have no election and they are having the 51 support, so that's enough to control the Senate. And with that, we know that there will be a conflict of interest if the House of Representatives is controlled by the Democrats. Though it's unlikely, Republicans will be controlling the House of Representatives as well. But that's still left to see. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked it. I'll be meeting you in the next video. Till then, take care and bye bye. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel.